Are you seeing double? Well, maybe you are. Hello everyone, it's Mini Monday Madness, and today we're painting a little mini hootie hoot. This is the first one that I painted. Ta-da! I started showing you and then my camera got cut off. So I painted another one to make sure you could see how I did it. And they're both kind of fun and cute. This guy has a little smaller head. This guy has a bigger head. It's very simple and easy. I'll do step by step for you guys. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. I have exclusive tutorials there weekly, and my other channel, the acrylic channel, amazing art channel. There's a link in the description box. There's a link on my homepage. I have a lot of fun abstract acrylic demos there. So go over and check it out. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to go over supplies. I have a 3-inch square. Arch is 100% cotton, cold pressed paper. I have my palette with my paints in it. I'll be using Dyke Brown, Cadmium Yellow Deep, maybe Peacock Blue, I'm not sure, but maybe alizarin crimson. Definitely you're gonna need to have a white gouache also. Paper towel here. I'll be mostly using my Princeton 8 long round brush. And of course my water jars. So the owl, the cute little owl. I've been painting owls for a while, so I already drew him out on the piece of paper, and I can teach you how to draw it. It's really simple. I mean, basically you take here's the square, and you're drawing like an oval first, right? Let's see if you can see that better. I can draw it darker pencil. You're drawing an oval first, right? Let me zoom in for you. In the square. And then you're just going to put a line curve down here and curve down here. And the beak, you would think that it'd be like one of these beaks, but no, that's a juvenile beak. It's this beak, like a little line, then you put outward, and then come down like that. That's kind of how they go, really. And then you have a circle for his eye, and then a circle in his eye again. And then we'll be doing the tweaking. Obviously, we'll erase this part, and we'll be tweaking, like, you know, his little fur and how we paint it. And that's basically how you would draw it, you know, just adding the fur and stuff. We're going to be painting the fur, and then go on the eye, you know, have a like halo. We'll paint that. Anyway, see how I do that? It's very simple. Draw the same thing here, and as we paint it, you'll see how it comes to life. So I'll begin by mixing. You know, he's going to have a lot of like brown tones, slightly yellow for the eyes and the beak, but mostly browns and grays. So let's get started. I'm going to mix up some nice, I have that Dyke Brown. It's a really pretty brown. And I'm going to add a little black to it. We're going to be washing in some color, then adding in some darker strokes. I'll make put a little yellow in there. And then add a little more black. Oops, too much black. So it's like a grayish brown. All right, so that's fairly loose. I'm going to clean up my brush. And what I'm going to do is I want to keep the part around the eyes here a little lighter. So you can take this wash and you want to keep it almost white light. Just a wash around here, but leave it that way. That's going to be really light around his eyes. And we can go in and add like the gouache tone later. And I'm going to wash in some color just all around here, his body. Same color wash. I'm just going to wash it all in. This is going to be adding layers and layers and layers till we get the cute little hootie hoot, as I call it. Okay, so you filled that like oval and that line, that shape that I showed you, see? But from here, take the tip of your brush and we're just going to wisp out some little wispy lines to indicate the fur. We're going to be doing this quite often in this tutorial. Just wisping out some lines. They can connect a little bit, So we're just doing the light tone first, just to get you used to it. And we can keep building from there. He's a little fuzzy right now. You can wash in a little darker brown gray. So I have the brown, the black. It's a little bit darker. I'm going to start washing in some color in here. So I'm just dabbing that in, because underneath, this is the darker area. So just wash some color in. You can just put some little dabs of color like this. And up in here. Remember, trying to keep it around the eye light. So I'm going to be building up color everywhere else. It's going to be coming alive. See, I'm just tapping this in around the beak. Careful not to be going near their eyes. So I want to keep the part near their eye lighter. And just tapping in. It's already starting to look like a little fuzzy owl, right? Just tapping in some darker tones, moving them around. Just kind of moving it around with my brush like this, see? It's good to have a brush that has a nice tip and a little long belly so you can hold a lot of paint. See, I'm just tapping in. I call it tapping in. I'm going to keep doing that with darker color. So I've got the black here. I'm going to water it down a little bit more. Because remember, it's like brownish gray. And I'm going to tap in a little more, just little taps. See that? Sporadically. Up here. It's going to create that nice color tone. Just a little bit over in here on the eyes. And this side, it's looking a little bug-eyed. I'm going to move it in a little bit in here. And on this edge too. Still want to keep it light around the middle here. So I'm going to remove some of it. Maybe I tapped in too much, so I'll just remove some of it. And this one's getting a hard edge and I don't want that. So I will remove some of that while it's still wet. See, I'm trying to take up some of that paint. I want to keep it light around the eyes. All right, so now we're going to get even more concentrated type of color. And hopefully it doesn't, it's still wet, but it doesn't bleed as much. So I've got that brown and I've got the black. Using less water. I'll tap it on my paper towel just to remove a lot of excess paint. Let's see if it bleeds too much. We're just making these little teeny lines. See how I'm just tapping it? Go a little closer so you can see. See, I'm just tapping these little lines sporadically. They might bleed a little bit. And then try and get them on the outside edge here. Trying to make them a little realistic. And by his beak, we're just going to tap in a little of that dark color. It's a little too much, so I'm going to just move it around a little bit. See, I'm just tapping in with the tip of my brush. It looks like he has a mustache, right? So I'm going to clean up my brush and just push this paint around. Don't worry, it will all make sense. Going to get even darker down in here. But it did look like a mustache, right? Very funny. Take that darker paint and go up in here. Just tapping it in sporadically. It's still wet, still bleeding a little bit. But we're building this little owl hooty hoot. I'm going to grab some more of that and go on the outside edge here, around by his eyes. Starting to look like a fuzzy owl. All right, so the eye, we want to get some really concentrated black I'm going to go right around his eye on the outside circle that you made. And on this side. I know you're seeing double right now because once again my camera decided to not film. I started showing you the eye part. This is the finished guy. Yep, it wasn't filming. I should have been keeping track of it. So I'm going to go back in and show you. We talked about, you know, filling in the colors, and now I'm going to talk about getting some black and some brown and less water, a little more concentrated. And we're just going to tap in little lines again. It's a building up kind of layering situation. And then in here, mine is still a little wet and moist from trying to rush to get this tutorial fix for you guys. And I put it over in here. It's a constantly battle of flushing in the color. And I'll just keep tapping in some of the darker blackish brown. So this guy might not look the same as the other guy, but I've already used to it. So now here I'm just putting out some little lines out in the other edge here. I'll have to bleed in this color a little bit in here. That's by moving it around, pushing the brush down, as you see, and moving it around, manipulating the brush. And I'll be constantly adding in some deeper tones as it dries. See that? I'm just tapping it in. I'll add in some more deeper black over here. Just tapping that in. Now I started showing you in the last one, that I did the outer eye black first. But then I told you, oh, that was a mistake. So I'm going to show you the way it should be. Come with my brush. So I mixed a yellow. I have the yellow, cadmium yellow deep. I mixed a little of that brown to get that little kind of like greenish, brownish yellow. And then I'll stick that all around the outer edge here. Of his eye and the beak. And kind of bleeding on the side here because there was some wet black, but if you want to grab some red and mix it with the yellow to get the tone down, a little more orangey yellow, do that and throw in some of the brown on that too, just to give it a little more depth. Just tap some of that in. You don't have to keep it the same kind of yellow, but yeah, we can make it a little bit different. Now we're gonna have to wait till that dries before we do the black circles inside. While that's drying, see this, picking up the paint. Again, we're gonna take that black. I have black over here. Some of that brown and black, less water. And just making these little lines under here. If it's wet, it will still kind of bleed a little bit, but since it's more concentrated, it will bleed less. And I'm tapping it in up here. Here I'm going to add a little bit more water because it dried. Just making these little lines for his feathers. And under here. Now I know the beak area was getting a little bit wet and bleeding, so I'm going to be careful not to put too much paint next to that. And I'm just going to keep pushing out this paint color, as you see here. Still kind of keeping it light around the eye. I might start to go around a little bit next to it, getting a little closer. We're just going to constantly be layering this black and brown tones and gray tones. Gonna grab some more black. Just gonna tap it in here. You want to have a nice variety of the browns and the blacks. That's what makes the animal look more natural and realistic. So just keep my little brush and just the tip of it and just keep making these marks. And then up over in here, grabbing more black, mix it with the brown. I always wipe it on my paper towel before I start to paint it on the paper. See, I'm just making these little wispy lines, getting a little darker still. I'm constantly building it up. I might just grab some black itself and go over in here, building up these eyes. And this guy is going to look a little different because no two paintings are ever alike, right? I'm just going to keep adding it. Now I think around the yellow should be dry. So we're going to take the black itself, going to go on the outside edge of the yellow, just like so. And the inside, we're going to go around the circle. We're going to leave a halo. And if you forget to leave the halo, you can always use white gouache for the dots. So I'm going to go to the inside, fill it in except the top half here. See that? Same thing with this one. Inside, and you leave a little halo. And then those are his little eyes. Now it seems a little goofy. We're going to have to go back in and add some color next to it. See, we're going to make it more realistic by going in and filling in color tones. Get some darker color next to that beak, a little more black. Down here. I'm going to start filling in and a little bit over here on the eye. Just going to wisp out a little bunch of little wisps right above the eye and outward. I'm going to keep playing with this. I'm going to keep adding some darker tones right above here, like an eyebrow, so it's kind of like his eyebrow. Just put a couple little wispy ones up in here. See, I'm just keep adding. I'm constantly adding. And then a little more dark black down here. So the shadow part. See, just keep adding. Here I might like loosen up some of that brown. And then wash in some brown tones down in here. I'm a little frustrated that the first one didn't come out with the video, but we'll wash in a little bit more of that lighter brown over in here next to his eye, keeping the white kind of on top like an eyebrow. And we're going to go in here and add a little more of that darker yellow right on here in the inner edge. Now I forgot to put a halo in there, so that's where I'm going to show you how to use the gouache for a couple of reasons. So I have some gouache over here. You just want just a little water with this, not too much, because you want it really opaque. I dab it on my paper towel again, just to get the excess off. I'll put a little white gouache right here for the halo, the nose. And then we'll do a little bit of wisps around his eyes like this. Just a few. You could put some in his feathers, just to lighten it up a bit right in the middle and around here. Play around with it, and you can always paint over the gouache with the darker tone blacks and browns. See, I'm just playing around with adding in the gouache. That's pretty much it. I got two hoot hoots. See what happens when I screw up? I'm going back in with black. Just, you're constantly layering it. Don't go too much. You know, a little more darker tones in here. Don't go overboard too much, because then it's going to look goofy. And to the yellow in the middle right here, and his eyes are looking a little bug-eyed, straight, goofy. You want to add a little tone to that. So get a little darker yellow. Get in there. It looks a little fake, so you want to go in and add just a little bit of darkness. Otherwise, it seems like not real, right? And there you go. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Sorry about the mix-up, but Lynn, I showed you anyway. So don't forget to check out my Patreon. There's new exclusive tutorials there weekly, and download traceables. My other channel, it's called Amazing Art Channel. I have acrylic demos over there. I put a bunch of new ones up recently, and they're a lot of fun. I'm just moving paint around with a palette knife and a brush, and I show you how I do it. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. I hope you like the Mini Monday Madness. We got 2 hooty hoots today. Take care, and I will speak to you soon.